He is the executive director of Destination North Ontario. But more importantly, he is the owner of one of the most exquisite operations in the country. We've said this a million times. It's called Lodge 88, and it is truly a little slice of heaven.
This lake is unbelievable for us. It has been such a lucky lake. We come down, we go to that lodge right there and get the best lodge that we've ever been to, and we stick walleye like this, left, right, center. A bad day, you'll still get a couple of these things. On a good day, it's mayhem.
And he joins us now, our good friend David MacLachlan. Good morning, David. Afternoon, I guess it would be.
Hey, how are you? Yeah, how are you? I was listening and hearing about how hard it was to make a living as a tournament fisherman. Try being in tourism right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God.
Nicely said.
Yeah, so true. So true.
First of all, are you at the lodge?
Yeah, I'm at the lodge right now, so coming to you by satellite. So if a bird flies over or something, we might lose our connection, but it's been pretty good for the last hour. So, knock on wood.
So, so David's lodge is Lodge 88 on Esnagi Lake. Tell everybody just quickly where you're, geographically located in the lodge, Dave.
Well, we're 88 miles west of Chapleau on the Canadian Pacific Railway, 36 air miles north of Wawa, and 34 air miles southeast of White River, roughly about 200 miles north of Sault Ste. Marie.
So one of the exciting parts about David's operation, I mean, you could fly in. Obviously, that's probably the most common, but and I don't know whether it's still available, David. You'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the most appealing ways to come and visit you is on the rail. And in our particular case, the first time we came to join you, I think we went out of Hawk Junction, or was
That's
it
right? Yeah,
one of the two?
yeah.
And that train trip in on the rail with the old Bud car. It's first of all, it's historical, but it's part of the experience of Northern Ontario. Is it still being used?
Yeah, still running. And, just a few years ago, Via Rail took over the operation of the train. And so they've improved their on-time performance. I don't know. I think I kind of remember you guys getting in a little late in the evening. And I think you brought a new definition to the word Bud car. Yeah, so 3 times a week out of Sudbury or out of White River, and right now they're on a reduced schedule because of the pandemic, just 1 train a week, but still running, and we're glad to have it.
Let's just for a moment, Pete. Let's just before we get on to the pandemic and all, we got a million things to talk to you about, but for a moment, let's talk about what you just said. If I remember correctly, that wasn't our first time visiting you, but I think it might have been the second, where we brought that group of 44 people or 48 people into the lodge, and only because of the rail service, because otherwise that trip wouldn't have happened. How else do you bring such a big group of people to one spot other than on a train? And Pete and I knew we were in trouble when we met these guys. I think it was in Sudbury.
Sudbury train station. Sudbury
train station. Mm-hmm. It was part of a national contest that we had put on. Anyways, the point is that they were all meeting in Sudbury, and then in Sudbury we were going to get on the train and we're going to come up to Lodge 88. And Pete and I knew we were in trouble when the vehicles started arriving, and one of the first vehicles that came up was a 40-foot motorhome hauling a 35-foot trailer. We thought, what in the hell is going on? Well, the trailer was full of beer. They had, I don't know how many cases of beer in that trailer.
It was ridiculous.
We knew we were going to be in trouble because they said, yeah, it's for our train trip out there. I mean, we're going to be on the train for 6 hours or so. I mean, we've got to have some beer. And they proceeded to unload this trailer into one of the trailers on the train, one of the cars in the train. And wow.
Yeah, that was a lot of beer.
We should have all had shares in LCBO that week.
Oh, good. And that's another point is we went to their cabins that one night after seeing all that 100 cases of beer, whatever a stupidly number it was. Well, they calculated at least 3 2-4s, a 2-4 a day for each guy, 24 beer, and Uncle, I want to say his last name, Uncle had 2 cases of beer per day. He threw an extra case of beer in. But then we went to the cottage that they were in, and then we got in there, and not only is it beer, they got 60 ounces of hard booze sitting on the table too. So just in case, we get hungover, we need a little change of. Oh my God, these guys can drink, man.
Yeah, I think the airbase an ATV with the empties, with deposits.
Yeah, you'd make a friggin' fortune on that, wouldn't you?
Anyway, that's just one of the many experiences that Lodge 88 has supplied for us, for sure. But let's talk about the pandemic situation. So how long have you been open now?
Well, we've been here since May the 24th. It was, it was a late year for ice, so we're a little late coming in. Technically open since the 13th of June is, kind of when we got the word from the province that we were okay to rent cabins. And so we've had people here pretty steady through the season, except maybe the month of July was quiet. But now we've been open for 2 weeks on the full American plan. The dining room's open, and nice to see groups of people here. It's still nothing like it would normally be, but it's better than what we thought it would be.
What's your dining room protocol right now, David? Do they have to wear masks? I mean, not eating, obviously, but what's your in-lodge protocol there? Seating, etc.
Well, from the health unit is in public spaces inside, supposed to wear a mask. So people are wearing a mask if they're coming in to watch TV. Coming in, sanitizing your hands at the door, and then sitting down. You don't have to wear a mask to eat your dinner. Now, people aren't spending a lot of time in the lodge. They're spending more time in their cabins and, of course, out in the lake. And we've had a fantastic summer.
Have you? The fishing's been good so far?
Well, it's been fantastic. Like, you think about, maybe that's one of the benefits, if there is a benefit, or one of the silver linings is, the fishing pressure. And there haven't been a whole lot of people on the lake. A lot of nice big fish coming in, both walleye and northerns.
So you're seeing a noticeable difference of the lack of pressure versus the results of fishing. It's higher. You can actually notice that in one single season. Is what you're saying?
I think we're seeing it, and I think over the longer term, we're going to really notice it. We pretty much have had 1 year of no fishing pressure on the lake. I mean, the fishing was great, but it can only help, right?
Yeah. Now, what about a catch and release policy for up there? Do you guys have a certain number you can't keep, or a size that you got to throw back, or is there a lodge policy? We throw back most of the fish, right, and especially the bigger ones. So we're on the provincial slot size, here on the lake and the fishing limits. Most people are keeping the smaller ones to eat, and definitely we strongly encourage to put the bigger ones back in the water for another day. Right. Okay. Now, because Ange and I have obviously been to the lodge a few times. I've been to a lot of lodges and all that, and normally at the end of a day, the boats get cleaned and they get regassed and refueled and all that kind of stuff. Is there any extra measures now that COVID is prominent around? Do you have to sanitize a boat? How does that work? Working out?
Well, we got about a 60-page manual to follow from Noto. They did a lot of work. I think most people, if you were doing like the cleaning, it's not so much in the boats, because most people come, you're in the same boat all week, you've got the same life jackets, the same equipment, so that's not so important. But certainly to clean them between guests. The big thing is in the cabins, and being able to take out, like, everything comes out of the cabin to get done, like all the linens, like everything comes out, the dishes, everything goes through the dishwasher. We're only booking half the cabins 1 week, so we can do the other half the next week. But as far as like the general cleaning, it's pretty much what people should normally be doing, like cleaning your doorknobs and light switches. Right. In Lodge, we're a little bit more careful going around washing doorknobs and that type of thing a few times a day. But people, everyone that's come, they've all been very good. Everyone's being careful.
You see, people have to realize too that of all lodges that Ange and I have ever been to, we will say, not because David's sitting right here with us, it is the cleanest. And any day, COVID or no COVID, it doesn't matter. When we first got there, like Ange says, it's a little bit anal when it comes to lodge cleanliness, et cetera, et cetera. We could put the word diva around over Ange pretty much. But when we got there, he just looked at this place and said, I'm in heaven. Look at this. There's no dust in the corner. There's no, the place is already immaculately clean. So, I mean, there's probably not a whole lot of difference during COVID because the place is just that good. So just to let everybody know how clean it always has been since we've been there.
I think the word's neurotic.
Okay, good stuff. Justifiably so, right?
I describe it to people to let them better understand what we're talking about. And only people who are into cleanliness will understand this. It is extremely difficult to clean floors in the corners. So when you're doing your daily maintenance, and I know we shouldn't be talking about this on a fishing show, but I think it's really cool. It's where I associate Lodge 88. When you clean corners, you know, whether you're waxing them or cleaning floors, it is really difficult to get in the absolute apex of the corner because whatever you do is going to leave a round mark. I'm telling you, at Lodge 88, there is not a corner anywhere to be found that is not clean. And that's how you tell. That's the difference between a really super clean place and one that is okay. So that's
too. Way out in the middle of nowhere too. That's the best part.
Well, we were very lucky, you know, with my dad and you know, making a big investment in new cabins and stuff, you know. So it's a lot easier to start from brand new than to pick up with something that's, you know, 50 or 60 years old. That's for sure.
Well, tell folks about that. There's a bit of history here. I mentioned the fact that it's 2 and 3 generations old. It's not something that just started yesterday, but in fact, Lodge 88 was completely rebuilt. Maybe you can sort of walk us through it a bit and give us a bit of history on it.
Sure. So my grandfather showed up off the train with you know, the same train that we have now 60 some years ago, with a canoe and paddled up the lake. He got almost a full mile, found a spot, and they were back the next year. They bought the land from the Ministry of Natural Resources and came in and started building. So I think 59 was the first year that they operated. And you know, over time, you know, things, you know, standards change, and we shut the property down in the late 90s, and then came back a few years later and pretty much knocked everything down to rebuild cabins, you know, with bigger bathrooms and you know, bigger front rooms. Like the old cabins had basically enough room for a table and chairs and, you know, maybe a fridge, and the old bathrooms, you know, like they were just so small that they were, you know, it just wasn't what people would be looking for today.
When your family first chose Isnagi, how important on a scale of 1 to 10 was the fishing in that lake in order to build right there? Was it like oh my God, this is it, we're building because of this fishing, or how's that work?
Yeah, well, I guess, you know, the story has it my grandfather had to be fairly vociferous and really press them in there. And I think he pressed used a few political connections to get the land purchased. They really didn't want to sell him the property on this lake. They were steering him to another one. But that was the whole thing. You know, he saw this place, and he was tenacious and made sure that he had it. So he was able to buy 5 acres, which at the time was unheard of. Because even now, like a lot of the lodges and stuff, they're under a land use permit and not on deeded property. So, you know, that made it a lot easier in a lot of ways, you know, to operate, you know, because if you're not on deeded property, how do you get a mortgage and that? So, you know, kudos to him. You know, he was, you know, he came out of the army, and, you know, you could see, you know, he put into practice what he learned in the army and over in Europe in World War II.
The foresight that was needed to who could have predicted what Lodge 88 has turned into today? And I know we banter this around all the time. You know, one of the greatest operations, we think, certainly in Northern Ontario, probably all of Canada, maybe in North America, and it's become legendary among folks who want the ultimate walleye fishing experience. Let's be honest about it. You know, that's really the meat and potatoes. Although you got some great northerns, pike fishing, although there's an opportunity for speckled trout fishing, although people come to Lodge 88 because they want an opportunity to have at it with walleye. And you have got some of the most incredible walleye fishing that anybody could possibly ever experience. We came up there the first time we shot, and we shot the entire episode, I believe. I could be wrong, but if not the entire episode, certainly 3/4 of the episode with the lodge in the shot the whole time.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. Yes.
And that was our biggest fish in the episode. The other stuff was a couple of filler fish. Just we may want to show the rest of the lake. We should do something because it all looks like it's all taking place right in front of David's place. Exactly.
So we're not going to lie to folks that this, this is the trip of a lifetime for everybody. It's not. It's not an inexpensive trip. You are classified as a premium operator. There's no doubt about it. But worth it if you're looking for those extra things that some of them we've just mentioned. The bigger rooms, the cleanliness, the food. The food is. We won't even get into the food, but it is legendary. Yeah. And now we've also said that the fishing is beyond belief. So it is worth the premium that one pays for that. And I only bring this up because I know during this pandemic, and God only knows when we'll be clear of it, during this pandemic, people are thinking, well, now's a good time to get a real deal. We'll strong arm those operators into giving their stuff away, and we're gonna get the best deal, and we're gonna tell them we're not coming unless you give it to us for nothing, kind of thing. And I only say that because I've heard rumblings to this effect from other lodge owners, and I was very disappointed when I heard that, because we as anglers should, as adults, should be able to put two and two together and figure out that your community, the outfitter, lodge owners, resort owners, guides, that whole industry is so severely hit with this pandemic. We have no idea. We have no inkling of how bad it is in the north. And so I say that because I want to urge people watching us today not to be of the mindset that, wow, this is going to be a great opportunity to get a real deal on a trip. Rather, maybe we need to start looking at it that this is a great opportunity for us as anglers to maybe give something back. And maybe, we can kill two birds with one stone. Maybe we can have the experience of a lifetime, help an industry and help families from the north get through this pandemic by saying, this year, I'm not going to be going away. Obviously, I'm not going anywhere out of the country, let alone the province. Maybe I should book my family vacation this year with places like yours. And that's what we want to encourage. In fact, we are on the cusp of unveiling a new area, a new place on fishingcanada.com that's going to be devoted entirely to operators and lodges and guides and resorts. And on it, we're going to encourage folks. We're going to incentivize them. There's no doubt about it. But we're going to encourage folks to support our communities in the north, our families in the north, our operators in the north, and maybe spend a little bit of money here at a time when we need the perfect excuse to give back, and there's none better than this. So I want to offer you an opportunity to put your product on fishingcanada.com. We want to tell the whole story. I want you to write the whole story of what we just spoke about. I would love for you, and I know I'm putting you on the spot, I would love for you to maybe donate a free trip that we can give away somehow on fishingcanada.com. And I'd also like you to consider for folks who book on fishingcanada.com to maybe give them something for it. And I don't know I'll leave that up to you. I don't know what that would be, but give them an opportunity to feel good about making the right decision to come and visit you. Because we can tell them, Pete and I can tell them for sure that it'll be the trip of a lifetime. They will be altered for the rest of their life after they spend some time at Lodge 88. You need to maybe do something just to push that over the top for them.
Sure. Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks for the opportunity. You guys have been so good to us over the years. Anytime you need, you just let us know. And I think a lot of people have trouble, when we're talking about the price point, is they don't understand that the price really reflects the cost of doing business in the north. and remote. And as bad as it is this year, like my brother at the airbase, like their airplane insurance went up 50% this spring, just 50. And so it's the costs are high when everything you do involves afloat planes. But yeah, no, that's great, and really appreciate it. And for sure, yeah, we'll sweeten the pot for you.
That is awesome.
We'll put something together and let you know, and let the audience know how and when and where. But if we could just move quickly to your other, put on your other hat, if you will, as executive director of Destination Northern Ontario. First of all, tell folks what that is.
So we're funded through the Ontario government, and specifically the Ministry of Heritage, Sport, Tourism and Culture Industries. And the only way I can remember that is it's HST, criminal investigation. So we're responsible for developing tourism opportunities across Northern Ontario. So that's product, training, marketing, and investment. And so obviously, this year's been tough for us across the sector. But I will say, we did tour with the minister last week, 5 days across the north. And there's some aspects of the industry that have come back. Now, certainly, the angling side continues to suffer, as does, some of the, the hotels and restaurants in town. But along the highways, things are busy. And, things have come back. People are touring, the province. I mean, we've got nowhere else to go. But, the big thing for the north is the loss of the U.S. market. And we know why the border's closed. And we hope that, for next spring, that things get better in the U.S. where we can, open the border safely. But that's a $500 million hit to Northern Ontario this summer. Without the U.S. Visitors, like $500 million to the lodges. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Think about that. A $500 million hit, just boom.
And that's one segment of business. That's one segment of this whole. How much money is being hit by guys? This is crazy.
I understand.
And it's
go ahead.
I was going to say it's not just here. Like the north is. The north is, hard hit here, but, look at the big cities in Ontario, like Toronto, like downtown Toronto right now, the occupancy in the hotels in downtown Toronto is under 8%.
Oh my God.
So, the travel and tourism's taken a big hit.
Yeah, for sure.
I understand. Speaking of which, you had Minister MacLeod up there last week.
Yeah, we got to travel. We started in Sudbury, went over to North Bay. We got her in a float plane. We went paddling out in Lake Superior. Made it as far as Thunder Bay and did some more paddling up there at Fort William. And she did ask what she's missed. And so, anyways, the plans are she's coming in September to go fishing for 3 days. So we'll see if that comes to be. But wonderful lady. Caring. Can't say enough about her and the support that she's given us over the last few months and through the pandemic, or even the government in general. Like, for the Ministry of Natural Resources to come out and, for the outfitters that are with land use permits to be able to stay those fees. There's outfitters that's $40,000-$50,000 that they just don't have this year. And, they're doing everything they can. And I know, a lot of people are looking for them to do more, but the need is just so great right now. I just don't think there's enough money to to support people to what they need. So in a lot of ways, we're like everyone, we're figuring this out as we go along.
And all the more reason why we need to take matters into our own hands when it comes to our northern areas of the province, and we need to support them because if we don't, they won't be there. And that's why we as anglers, outdoors people in general, need to look deep down inside and see how we can prop this up and help support you guys. And I know we can make a difference, and it won't be at a cost that we can't support. Somehow we're going to pull this all out of the fire, I'm sure. And,
yes.
And have a great time. And have a great time to boot and experience that we would have.
And the fishing is going to get better.
That's right.
Yeah.
David, we've run overtime, but more importantly, we've taken way too much of your time. We so truly appreciate being able to call you our friend, and more importantly, appreciate the job that you've done in Northern Ontario. We look forward to being up there with you soon. And who knows when we're going to be back on the road, but we will get back on the road at some point. Trust me.
For sure.
Awesome.
Before
Yeah,
we leave,
let's keep on talking about how we can work together to support this industry, because I think times have changed, and yeah, I think you guys have some really good ideas that we'd like to be along there with you.
Perfect.
David, thank you for joining us, my friend.
Wait. We're going to do a lightning round with Mr. David. Remember? You're not getting out of that now, Viola. You forced it.
I forgot.
So our lightning round is just quick questions. If you can give us a one-word answer or something really basic, it's just going to be a few questions that Ange and I put together. And the reason I'm laughing is because I was talking to Ange and I had some Chonger. Dave was supposed to be on. I had Chonger's questions. And then Buck came in. Oh, I got to get some Buck questions all about fishing. And then he said, "What about David? You got to leave David out." I said, "No, we're going to do David here. Don't you worry." So anyways, I'll start it off. I don't know, Ange, if you have any or not, but David, really quickly, one word, quick answers, whatever you got. What is the most targeted fish species in Northern Ontario?
Walleye.
I think that's a no-brainer, but I just wanted to make sure of that one. What is the largest walleye at Lodge 88?
I'm going to say there was one that was about 16 pounds caught back in the 70s.
16. Yeah. That's a big fish in a smallish lake.
That was a big fish. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. What is the more popular method of transportation to Lodge 88? Train or plane?
I'm going to say train by just a little bit.
Okay. That's interesting. I thought it'd be by a lot, but what is and you might not know this, but I'm sure you might have a good idea. But what is the farthest north drive-to fishing lodge in Ontario? Is there one that's
furthest north drive-to fishing lodge in Northern Ontario? I'm going to say probably it's got to be up around Red Lake, up in that area. There's some drive-in lodges or even boat-in. That's got to be the furthest north, and maybe with Ring of Fire that'll change.
I'm assuming you know the answer to this.
No, I don't. I have no idea.
I think I were there, and I believe it's Pickle Lake.
Pickle Lake, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Pickle Lake, yeah.
Drive.
Okay, my final question to David. This one's a good one. Okay, I like this one. Is there genuine, legitimate, authentic royalty in the blood of the Queen of the North, Carol Caputo? I knew Angelo.
Right, that one you put me on the spot. Obviously, there's got to be something there somewhere. Very often, but I'm sure it's there.
She's gonna hate me for throwing that question out there, but I had to.
She's gonna text me and tell me I'm an ass again.
For sure. Oh, she'll probably text all of us on that one.
Anyways, David, we appreciate you joining us, my friend. I wish you and Terry all the best up there. And let's work together and get this thing off the rails, back on the rails, and get moving and sell some beds.
And thank you very much for your offer of the contest, David. That's much appreciated. So,
no, 100%. Thank you. You guys have a good week.
You too.
Take care, buddy. David MacLachlan, Executive Director with Destination Northern Ontario and owner of one of the premier operations in this country for sure, Lodge 88 on the Snoggy. And it, by the way, I never had him explain why it's called Lodge 88, but he did mention it earlier on when he was talking about the rail service, because it's on mile marker 88.
Yeah.
So what happens, the train stops at mile marker 88 in the middle of nowhere, and poof,
and you get out. Now, when all those guys brought that beer up on that train, that was quite an unloading of gear that time, was it? Oh my God!